All right, hey guys, J-Man here with Steve and Sean. We're talking about James Bond, No Time to Die. I think trailer, but also just like general thoughts about this last Daniel Craig movie. Have we all liked I liked all the Daniel Craig movies. I'm more of a Daniel Craig fan now than I am when they first came out. I thought Casino Royale was okay. The ending was kind of weird to me. I read the book, watched the movie. I now understand why they did what they did to expand that into a movie. I like Quantum. I hated Quantum when I saw it. I like it a lot now. I like Skyfall and Spectre. I don't like the making Blofeld and him connected. But other than that, it's fine. So I'm really looking forward to No Time to Die. What about you guys?
Go ahead, Sean.
No.
You're not looking forward
Well, I don't like the Daniel Craig movies. Pardon?
You don't like the Daniel Craig movies? How come?
Because I feel like they're chasing trends rather than setting trends like Bond used to do.
Mm-hmm.
And now the trend that they're chasing is kind of dead. I mean, the Bourne movies are done. I don't see any more coming out.
Yep.
But that's sort of the style they were chasing for a long time there. Plus, Bond in the books is different, depending on what book you're reading or what short story you're reading from. And I'm talking about Ian Fleming. Like, I don't really read anything past that. Like, I know there's tons, but the Bond that they're taking for Daniel Craig, to me, is more like the first two movies. It's Casino Royale Bond, where he's contemplating, whether he should be a spy or not, and he wants to settle down and stuff, and he snaps back to his senses at the end of the movie. It's not the same thing in the Casino Royale movie, but in the book he's like that. And the Quantum of Solace short story, which has no action, is just Bond talking about an affair with someone. And he's all titillated by that. He's like, oh, they have like a more exciting life than I do, and he yearns for that a bit. He walks away yearning for that. And that's the kind of like mopey, contemplative Bond that they've sort of taken. And that's not my Bond. It's not my cup of tea. It is a Bond. It's from the Ian Fleming books. But even Ian Fleming made him a man of action in the very next book after Casino Royale. So he's punching guys in the shark tanks, right? In Live and Let Die. I'm not a big fan of these movies. Skyfall was good. It's okay. It's more actiony and stuff. The original idea for that, thank God they didn't do it. Where do you know this? Where Skyfall was a retirement home for Bonds, and when he goes there, Sean Connery is there, and he helps him out in the fight against the main bad guy. Sean Connery, Sean Connery is not in the best of shape right now, so they couldn't do it, so they just rewrote it, right? To be his family home or something like that. I don't like the trend chasing. I don't like the Bourne stuff. I don't like changing the origin of Blofeld to be like the Austin Powers movies. That's
I don't like that either.
And also not making the movies. Bond is best when each movie is his own thing. And then Spectre was like, let's make a universe just like everything else. And so every single movie connects because it's all Blofeld's big plan of nothing. I hate all that stuff. So yeah, I think that the Bond movies have entered into a formula years and years ago where they release one every 4 or 5 years and build an appetite. So yeah, I do want to see the next Bond movie. But I'm not super duper looking forward to it because I don't like what they've done with the Daniel Craig Bonds. But that's just me.
All right, Steve?
It's funny. I always look forward to the next Bond, even if I didn't care for the last one. I am looking forward to No Time to Die. To sort of level set. You guys have read most, if not all, of the books. I have read 0, right? So I'm just going off the movie knowledge. Okay. I always looked at Bond in the movies as the ultimate male fantasy, right? He gets to girls, he goes to stunning locales, he saves the world, he's got gadgets. when they start to introduce the Daniel Craig Bonds, which actually I think there was a conversation we had like prior to that where I'm like, you know, one thing I was sort of interested in is if they actually make the Bonds connect. And they have done that with the Craigs. Like if you look, they have connected. Like I think in Quantum, it continues like he's looking for Mr. White, or he's dealing with Mr. White, and he's talking about Quantum. So they did do that, to their credit, right? I just have not been overwhelmed. I've liked aspects of the Daniel Craig Bond. I liked most of Casino Royale. Skyfall was okay. Quantum I found boring. I don't know why, I just found it boring. I just found it just underwhelming. Spectre, I liked the first half, and then the second half, it just went down. I will say that the villain for this, I really like Rami Malek. And he looks more like what I like in a Bond villain, where he's got that broken mask thing. I like the over-the-top Bond. So I know people were like, oh, I don't like Moonraker. I really like Moonraker, right? I know it's Bond in space. I don't care. Inserting Jaws into the series was brilliant in my opinion. Like, I love anything like that, over-the-top, not realistic. So this has not been what I want in a Bond. But I'm always willing to give the next Bond a chance, even if I didn't care for the last one, just to see what happens. I have not liked Q in this one, where he's like, he keeps making fun of the gadget thing. I do want someone to punch out Q in this one. I will be honest with you. But I don't know. I am still looking forward to it. I don't have any qualms against Daniel Craig being Bond. I know there's been all this talk, oh, he's not really James Bond. I haven't really felt like that. He is, to Sean's point, a Bond. Maybe not the Bond you knew or grew up with, or the usual Bond, but he's okay. Like, I think there's opportunity there. I just wish they would go a little bit less with the realism, but that's me.
Well, let me just say one more thing. I don't like the creative attitude of these movies because it's too much of a formula. It's like there's got to be like a third act twist, and you don't need it, and that's what ruined the origin of Blofeld and Spectre. And like, yes, the Rami Malek character looks like a cool, awesome comic booky villain. I'm sure there's going to be some stupid ass twist towards the end, like I'm your brother or some dumb thing. Like, and you laugh, but I swear that's gonna happen. Something dumb. I don't like these Sony Bonds. I don't like these new Bonds, man. It's too trend chasing. You know, there's gonna be some dumb formulaic Act 3 twist that we're not gonna like. Anyways, yeah. Jason, what do you think?
Okay, so let's just point this out to the viewers, just so they know. Steve and Sean grew up going to the theater to watch James Bond and all that. The first James Bond movie I ever saw in the theater was Casino Royale, this Casino Royale, not the first ever Casino Royale movie. I did read all the books except for the last 2 or 3, I don't remember. But I've read everything that's pretty much been turned into a movie. I think Octopussy was the last book or something, or one of the last. I don't think I read that.
Octopussy's a short story.
Yeah. Anyway. So the last 2 books for sure I did not read, if not the last 3, I don't remember. But I read a lot of them. And the thing to me is that if I'm going back and watching these movies, after Roger Moore, I don't feel that any of them are James Bond after that, to be honest. So lumping it onto Daniel Craig, it isn't fair, in my opinion. Like, I don't like these Craig Bonds because they're not Bond. Well, none of them have been Bond at all. And even like, let's say Moonraker, which has nothing to do with the book is fantastic. Moonraker the movie only, I love it, but it's not James Bond and it's kind of horrendous. So, but I don't care. Like, I love it anyways. This is one of because James Bond is not anything that I grew up with, I can disassociate things and be like, I like Flash Gordon the movie. Yes, it's silly, whatever, and the comics weren't silly. They're supposed to be fantasy comics, but it's silly fun. I like it. I don't care. It's like, I like the Adam West Batman, not because it was accurate to the comics at the time or because it's a throwback or it's silly. I just like it because I like it. Same with James Bond, I'm not getting into the background of anything. I'm just watching the movie. I like Moonraker. But For Your Eyes Only is like obviously way light years better as like a James Bond movie or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, the best James Bond movie, if you want James Bond, is probably From Russia with Love, which I used to think was boring. But when you read the book,
it's a great story.
It's a great story. It's the best book. And On Her Majesty's Secret Service as well. I think personally my favorite is On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I also like Thunderball. I like From Russia with Love, For Your Eyes Only. That's maybe my 4 favorites. I gotta watch Spy Who Loved Me again, but those 4 for sure are solid. Like, you know, I can't beat those. So to me, those are still the real James Bond. Like On Her Majesty's Secret Service is bloody a perfect movie.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite movies of all time anyway. Whether it's a James Bond movie or not.
Yeah.
Okay. So bring us back to Daniel Craig. Yes, I do like the continuity. That's interesting. I absolutely hate the Blofeld thing. And Sean, you're right. This is this new concept of there needs to be something in the end to make it a twist. Oh, James, it was always me from the beginning. And he has those pictures up of everybody. You're like, no.
Yeah.
So Spectre's the worst one because of that. Casino Royale doesn't have anything actually bad that happened. It's just, it was a little bit like, oh, he's on this romantic thing with the girl. And you're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's not like, oh, this is bad and this is ruining the storyline, right? You're just like, okay. Quantum, I thought was boring, and I rewatched it. I thought it was awesome. There's mega action in it. I don't know why. You guys got to rewatch that one. Take the
mega action. I gotta rewatch that.
Yeah, I gotta rewatch it.
Take the Max Reed challenge. That's my buddy Max Reed from university. Take the friggin' Max Reed challenge. He challenged me to rewatch Alien 3. Okay. Skyfall, I think, is an enjoyable movie. It's fun. Spectre is where we start getting the problems. Where what you're saying, they're chasing this trend, or there has to be this big third act thing. Even copying the Bourne identity formula, I don't like, because Bourne has nothing to do with James Bond. Bourne and Bond are 2 different bees. They're not the same. And I don't like Bourne, the movies, like at all. I watched the first 2, didn't watch the third, didn't watch whatever the other one was without the guy. But No Time to Die, I'm thinking, like, I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully it's bringing it back to what kind of it should be. Like, take the best elements from Casino and take the best elements from Skyfall and put those together and hopefully that's what No Time to Die is. But we do have 2 trailers that came out, the pre-COVID trailer and the post-COVID trailer. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the trailers, I guess, since we want to talk about that?
They're really trying to sell you on the action. It's like, this is Bond, this is action. It's like, forget all these other movies, you know. And it gives me the impression that, like, we're seeing exactly what's going to be in the movie, and then it'll be spaced out by all this boring crap. Also, it's Mopey Bond is back, you know. He's all like, oh no, you know. He just gives that impression to me. So yeah, I can't really make a huge judgment call on this, because I couldn't really call Spectre, and then when I saw Spectre, I was disappointed. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah. The trailer looks good, but well, I don't know. There's a couple of things that irk me in the trailer, and it has to do. And I know this is a talking point, and everyone's gonna get all into this. But what the what's her name? I'm trying to. Nomi is the character's name, Lashana Lynch, who's a 00. Okay. I don't like that she's like, I don't like when people are making fun of the hero. This is the primary reason I don't like Last Crusade, because Sean Connery is making fun of Indiana Jones. And Indiana Jones is who I wanted to literally be, right? Yeah. You know, and James Bond, I never wanted to be James Bond, because I got onto it later in life, like, you know, when that set came out, the 50th anniversary or whatever. Yeah. So I don't have anything like, oh, you're ruining who I want to be. But it's like, she's a 00. I would expect her to have respect for the other 00s and him for them too. And she's like, oh, I can see why you shot him, or, oh, he's whatever. And you're like, why? It's supposed to make her seem like she's tougher, but it just makes me seem like she's annoying. Yeah. If you wanted to make her tougher, just have her be badass and team up with Bond and they kick ass. Like, making fun of each other is not, it's fun in Starsky and Hutch because they're good friends. It's fun in A-Team because they love each other and they'll die for each other. But these people have just met. Like, why is she being weird? Now, I don't know. That's just a personal thing that irked me, where I'm like, why do you have to do that? And I know that it's this thing of we have to show that she's like a strong, equal, independent woman. We'll just make her equal. Like, I don't see why you have to make fun of James Bond to make her seem better. This is this bad writing, where you can't have two good characters. It's like Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman are both equally good at what they do, and then they just make each other look better.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I got that vibe for sure. And the problem ends up being that, one of the problems I have had with these new movies is that, and I touched on it with the Q thing, is they really try and say, they're trying their ass off to say, this is a new Bond, this is a new direction, we're not doing any of that stuff, right? And I feel like it's almost like you got a bunch of like writers who don't like Bond, who got into a room and say, why don't we like Bond? And then let's try and rewrite the entire thing to address those problems we have with Bond. Bond is its own thing. It's kind of like I said, it's the ultimate male fantasy I always found, like the ultimate male's heterosexual fantasy, right? And like, I know there's a lot of people who don't like that. And, it seems to be like current film criticism to tear down everything that came before. And this is like a response to that. But I also don't like that. I know what you're talking about, where she's like making fun, you in the knee or something. And I'm like, you don't like, I had the same reaction. I'm not going to like this character. I'm just going to hope that she gets murdered immediately. This is going to do the opposite of what you want me to do.
Right.
All right. I just like, I hope that, Rami Malek comes in with a huge drill and puts it in her head and she goes through a freaking wall. Like, I don't know.
That ain't happening.
No. It's not happening at all.
I think they're setting up a red herring where they're saying that she's going to be the next Bond, but like, and that's the rumor, but like, that's never going to happen.
Yeah,
I remember they tried that with was it Jada Pinkett Smith? She's going to be like Jinx, like a new movie.
That was Halle Berry.
Halle Berry, yes. I'm racist, sorry. No, I can't remember.
I like Jada Pinkett.
I
can't remember which movie that was. Halle Berry was Jinx in some Pierce Brosnan movie.
Die Another Day, man. One of the best ones.
Right, okay. And then they wanted to spin her off in her own thing, and that never happened, right?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really get that impression. I just get the impression they just had a soundbite and they put it in, and they're trying to give Bond a chip on his shoulder. I don't know. I don't really know where they're going with this, because I think this could be the last Daniel Craig movie or something.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, like, whether or not they go with the idea that every character that's James Bond puts on the name of James Bond or something like that, or he retires and then they have a new Bond. We haven't really had a lot of casting rumors about a new Bond yet, so maybe that's not true. Maybe Daniel Craig is holding out for more money, but I don't know. I think they are setting up a red herring though of her being the new Bond, and that's not going to happen.
She's not going to. She's if they call another person James Bond, that's the fail of all lifetime. It's like, if they have.
Well, that's what they're going to go for with Skyfall, right? That was their original idea, that like all these old Bonds are in this house, and then like Sean Connery's in there. And so and then they didn't do that because Sean Connery was too sick, so they didn't go that route. But it doesn't make, it's one of those, Bond continuity is not really a thing. It's kind of this thing where you can say if you want that all the Bonds are the same, and you can say that they're not if you want. But some of the Bonds do continue, like the Lazenby one continues into the next Sean Connery one.
Yeah.
He's running around trying to fight Blofeld. He's like, where's Blofeld?
So, right at the beginning.
Yeah, they're all, and they refer to, the wedding in On Her Majesty's Secret Service in one of the Timothy Dalton Bonds. I think it's like the second one or something like that. He's been married before or something like that. So it's supposed to be the same Bond, but
he goes to Roger Moore. Roger Moore goes to the grave. He goes.
I remember that. Yeah.
Tracy, Countess or whatever. He goes to her grave in For Your Eyes.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, so that's a thing. Like, yeah, it continues. But yeah, having someone else be named James Bond is a fail. Retire and the 007, calling her 007, because there's lots of 00s. That's established.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Having her be a 00 is perfect. Just have her be a 00 and that's it. Having her take on the number of 007 is a fail, because it's like it's like Wayne Gretzky retired, and I don't watch hockey, but is anyone else
199?
Yeah.
99, yeah.
That's a really good question. So how it works in sports is like the team who had him retires it. There's only been one number I can remember in sports history where everyone retired the same number, and that was Jackie Robinson.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
if you wear 99, it's weird, but you can do it.
Yeah, but not 99 on what on LA.
Like if Edmonton like retired his number, no one else can wear it. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So they should retire the 007 number in the movies anyways, or just not even say anything, because she's not going to be 007 in a James Bond movie that anyone's going to want to watch. So what would be the point? Like, why even bother saying that? Like, when they're going to do the Jinx movie, that was just going to be a Jinx movie.
Yeah.
Say, oh, she's 007 James Bond. It's like, no, they're just like, it's a Jinx movie. So if this character Nomi becomes very popular and she's 0010 or whatever she is, 008. So let's say she's 008, or let's make her 003 so she's better than James Bond. So she's 003. It's right, because you have to make her better. So she's 003. So then make a 003 movie. No one's going to watch it, but you could do that if you want to. But like, what would be the point of changing it and making her 007 and making him like that? Would be utterly stupid, which means it could happen, because that's how they do it now.
Oh, I could very well say, because the thing is that I think the character actually keeps mirroring Daniel Craig, because how many times have we heard Daniel Craig's quitting? I've heard he's quitting the last 3 movies.
I know.
And like, I think every time the movie starts, he's either incommunicado or retired or something. So I could very well see that he's retired after Spectre because of whatever reason, and this girl got the 007 and she's like, well, I'm 007 now. I could very well see that, right? It's like a bank account. They just recycle the number when someone stops using it.
I'm saying that
he'll be 007 at the end of the movie. It's like they're not going to rock the boat that much. I mean, come on.
I'm saying, like, if James Bond is a real thing and there's a real agent, I don't know how many 00s there are. I don't know if that was ever established. I think there was a 0010 in one of the books, to be honest, or that name was said, but it doesn't matter. Let's say it goes from 001 to 009.
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be more than 9 agents, because someone's going to die, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sean Bean what was Sean Bean? 6?
I think it was 6, yeah.
Really?
Sean Bean betrayed him
yeah. I thought it was 008, to be honest with you, but anyway.
Didn't he say I was always one better than you or something like that? I don't know why. I may have
possible.
Okay. So he's either 6 or 8. I don't know. So let's say he's 008. So he's dead, right? So obviously there's going to be another 008. Right?
Yeah.
Or if James Bond retires, or is retired in the beginning of this movie, and she's the new 007, then I'm not that tense over that, because it's like he's retired. I understand that in the world of the movie, but in the world of you're making a movie for the audience, I would probably not call her 007. I would just say 003. And because why would you want? Remember, you need my money. You want me to buy this on Blu-ray. You want me to go into the theater. It's like, taking my money is easy. You're making a James Bond movie. Don't make it harder. It's like, oh, he's not really James Bond. Oh, he's not really 007. It's like, well, then you're not really getting my money. Like, so I just don't, I don't get this like idea of why we need to like this hasn't happened yet. So, I'm just saying that I don't like the way that she's like treating Bond in the trailer only.
Yeah.
It could be different in the movie.
Yeah, you don't know I can't really get mad at these Sony trailers. They actually Sony's bad for trailers, because they always they give you something like you know, 30, 40% of the movie before the movie comes out. So we'll get a lot more and we'll see more of this character. So
But
I
they're
don't know.
also
When is
selling
this
you.
supposed to come out?
No,
November.
but
November?
they're also selling you. So they're trying to sell me on the fact that she's better than James Bond. So why am I watching a James Bond movie? I'll just watch her movie. Like, this is that.
They've always tried to, yeah, for the Daniel Craig movies, they've always tried to like undermine James Bond, but like
Yeah.
also Daniel Craig does it too. So Daniel Craig has always said like he's a womanizer and like, you know, it's like it's a man out of time and all that stuff. And people have always speculated that he's trying to negotiate for more money, right? Or something. I don't know. But the thing is, I haven't liked Daniel Craig because of that, because he badmouths the character that he's in. Like anyone would kill to play James Bond, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just want to like, but I don't know how much time we have, but like this idea of James Bond being probably irrelevant today, I don't agree with that. I think everyone still chases that Bond thing. Even if kids today don't understand that, like everything from Mission Impossible to Bourne to anything else, even some of the Fast and Furiouses take from Bond. It's an age old trope. I don't mind if they do like race swap, because I know at one point they're talking about Idris Elba, and the only reason why is because Idris Elba is very poised and sophisticated looking and handsome, and he could play a Bond. Doesn't matter what race he is, right? So, like if they wanted to just say like, let's do a black Bond and then go out just with that in mind, I think it's better to just like cast for the style, and like there are plenty of actors out there who aren't white that could play a Bond, because they've got that style and sophistication, and Idris Elba looks like, you know, great in a tux, right? So like he could do a Bond.
That. I wouldn't be against,
no, I wouldn't be against it either.
I wouldn't be against that either.
It's more so the movies though. Like if you guys look, so I was at the movie poster warehouse last week and I was looking at the Bond posters, right? And Jay, you have the book, I have the book.
Yeah.
Bond has the best posters
for sure
of any like franchise, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
But then when you look at the new Craig Bonds, they're very boring and uninspired compared to the previous ones. Like when you were talking about making a James Bond film back in the day, it was the pinnacle of advertising, right? The posters were awesome. The music was incredible. There was always a great title song, right, by a known artist. The cinematography was always excellent. The action scenes were creative. I mean, look at that for Moonraker, man. That is an awesome poster. And that you know, that's arguably like middle of the road. Like, look at that. Right? That's Thunderball.
My favorite is it Thunderball? It's like a look up, look down, look out.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That is it.
I love that. It's great.
Yeah, like but the Bond movies were always the top of the game for all these things, right? And it just seems that we're now seeing, which one is that?
On Her Majesty's.
On Her Majesty's. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't be. Like, there was so much great, like, movie-making stuff with Bond films. Always, like, the standard. And now it seems that they're, like, trying to tear everything down. And it's like, this is why I struggle with the Craigs. I'm trying not to jump on the hate wagon and say all these things suck and blah, 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 and I'm not going to give it another chance. Of course I'm going to give it another chance. I have gone to every Bond movie except for Die Another Day inexplicably for no reason since I was 4 years old. So I'm obviously going to see the next one. But I want good Bond, and I don't want just good Bond as in a good movie. I want good Bond as in everything.
Well, I think these movies are good for like the age, because I think people do like them, like, you know, like millennials and stuff like these new Bonds. I think this is what probably the Bond franchise needed. It's just not, it ain't my Bond, but it's not supposed to be, I guess. You know, they're not going for my 40-something old dollar, you know. and they're going for the 18 to 35, right? So
Well, if
they
they
want
are,
that.
then they're never going to see any money because these people don't spend anything, and they'll see it. And it'll be like I was watching. I was watching Cobra Kai or Red Letter Media review Cobra Kai, and they
Yeah, I saw it.
something about RoboCop. And they're like, "Oh, RoboCop." It's like, "Hey, yeah, that remake, yeah, it was not as awful as it could have been." Okay, and then literally no one cares about it anymore. Like the
Yeah.
review of RoboCop, the remake was, "Well, it's not awful," and then you're never going to discuss it again. If you ever want to watch RoboCop, you watch the regular one. This is what's happening with James Bond is that it's getting slightly to the point where it's like when I start thinking, oh, I gotta watch it. I feel like watching a James Bond. It's gonna be it's either gonna be Lazenby or what's his name, Moore or Connery. It's gonna be one of those three. There's something to be said for some of the movies that were made around the time where the books take place in the time period.
Yeah.
The further you get away from the time period of the setting, like I would think it'd be very interesting to do a period James Bond movie.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Or
even like a Netflix series or something. Just like every book,
Yeah. And I was thinking, I'm like, I'm not sure if I literally just thought of this. Is the future of James Bond is the past? Put him in, like 50s, 60s, whatever, and do it that way. And I think it'd be very interesting because trying to do it now, you are falling into this Bourne Identity style thing. And it's like the gadgets are fine, but like they're still somewhat, I like the gadgets to a certain point, but I also like James Bond figuring things out himself and getting himself out of trouble as opposed to hitting, like at some point it got a little bit too crazy where he's driving, he hits a few buttons and he's escaped versus he's a good driver and he just like maneuvers and smashes and, like For Your Eyes Only, honestly, For Your Eyes Only is honestly the absolute perfect like section of like what you want. It's actually enough to be like, well, this is pretty cool. There's a couple of, a bit fake shit going on, a little bit like, would this really happen? But maybe it could happen, like it's right perfectly in that sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service is there. There's like this equator where like however close you get to the perfect thing. The Daniel Craig ones are not perfect because they've eliminated the gadgets and all that, and they try to make it more realistic. But really, they're running around. He's jumping and flipping and hitting his back on a wall. Like, well, this is pretty fake too. So
yeah,
if you're good,
like substitute for another fake thing, yeah.
Right, like Spectre has a car chase, which I swear to God, it's got to be CGI'd and fast forwarded. It ain't Bullet. You know what I mean? Right, like when you watch Bullet, Steve McQueen, baby, you're watching, you're like, okay, this is some killer shit going on. And you throw in Spectre and you're like, this is like Fast and the Furious. Fast and the Furious has become Godzilla. Like literally, if Godzilla showed up, I'd be like, oh, okay. I guess they'll fight Godzilla in this because it's become so fantasy. Like I don't know if it was 5 or 6. I saw the first 5, or I think I saw 6. There was a part where the car flipped.
Yeah.
And spun and landed on like another highway. I'm like, oh, okay, boys. Vinny, just click your heels 3 times. It's gonna be okay. Because this is like absolute trash. Now I'm okay with fantasy. Duh. Like, like everything I do is fantasy related. But if you're going to sell me and say, no, this is the real James Bond, baby. This isn't that bullshit, where he's driving in an ice castle. Oh, okay. He's just jumping off a bridge and smashing his back in this trailer. He jumps off that bridge and like falls and smashes his back and falls like, you're dead. Like, you can't survive that.
Yeah.
We're in the final 5 minutes. Anything else to wrap up?
I mean,
no, they'll make James Bond movies for years and years to come. I know every time a movie comes out, everyone says like, well, it's not relevant anymore because there's more of a push towards like gender equality and rights for women. And there's no Cold War. There hasn't been a Cold War for like 20, 30 years now, you know. But I think there'll always be a drive for this sort of like spy fantasy. It's the franchise that created the spy fantasy, really. I mean, there's spy tales before, but once they got into the movies and got into like the super spy, you know, like cool, suave, debonair, womanizing dude that drinks a lot and stuff, that's what created everything after that, and it'll continue on. Maybe in different iterations, like I was saying, like maybe an Idris Elba or something like that. I'm fine with that, but yeah, well, we'll see this. We'll be disappointed by it. You know, whatever.
All right, Steve.
I know I can predict this. I know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Sean. You know, there will always be a Bond. Bond's a brand name, right? He's like one of the last great literary characters who jumped to the screen and became a great film character. You know, I feel like there will always be an audience for Bond. It might not be the audience that the studios or the filmmakers want to be there, but it is what it is, right? Like, ultimately, like, these movies, even though they're not making them for us, they appeal to us because we know what Bond is. We, you know, like, we grew up with Bond. Gee, I know you not so much, but you jumped on the train because, like, what are you going to do, right? Bond is a great, like, film character. Like, you're going to jump on board. So, I mean, they can continue to not make movies for us, and we will continue to sit down, watch them, critique them, and ultimately end up being the audience, even though you don't want it.
You know, that's a great point to end off on. Yeah. I mean, we're going to watch and then, you know, do you want, I don't know. My thing is, like, do you want my money? It's real easy. I'm a collector. I buy a lot of stuff. I have like 4,000 movies, like literally. So it's like, I've got, you know, I don't know how many, 10,000 something comics, maybe more. So I'm the prime guy to buy. I'll buy anything, but if you don't want me to, I'm cool with that. You know, it's like, if you don't want to bring stuff out that appeals, that's cool. You can have it appeal to whoever you want, who's not going to give you the cash. They'll go on Twitter and say this is a great movie, and then they'll move on to the next movie, and then that'll be that. So yeah. I still like Daniel Craig. I'm always give another chance. Okay, Spectre, that was poo. Go again.
Yeah.
Go again.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's see what happens.
To your earlier point, I'd love it if the producers did something like continue the movies, but also like on Netflix or Amazon, just do like the books, right? Because they have their own continuity and characters, right?
Yeah.
And period, like you were saying, that would be nice.
Period would be sick. That'd be sick.
Yeah. It makes sense. Smersh is in that period, so.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, that's it. We'll wrap it up for this week then. And let us know in the comments what you think of James Bond. And if you have any ideas for stuff to talk about, let us know. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See ya.